gonna read a poem now. I'm not sure if I've read this one out loud yet before, but I think today is a good day to read it again if that's the case. This is a poem by N. Scott Momaday. It's called Angle of Geese. How shall we adorn recognition with our speech? Now the dead firstborn will lag in the wake of words. Custom intervenes. We are civil, something more than language means. The mute presence molds and mourns. Almost of a mind, we take measure of the loss. I am slow to find the mere margin of repose. And one November, it was longer in the watch, as if forever, of the huge ancestral goose. So much symmetry, like the pale angle of time and eternity, the great shape labored. If any of you have comments, the mic is up here. What is this? So I've stopped in briefly today. I've been noting a few little notes in the news concerning what governments and city governments and state governments are now doing to deal with the budding problem of so many of the deceased victims of COVID-19. And it's been brought to my attention this morning that this is becoming even more and more dangerous. And I spoke with someone I know who is in the medical field, and there's a lot of growing concern and evidence of prion infection in some sufferers of COVID-19. And I once researched and wrote a paper about TSE, such transmissible spongiform encephalopathy. And what my contact is telling is that they're finding evidence of this in COVID-19 patients as of today. It's the first time I've heard about it. And it's really, really concerning. TSE stands for transmissible spongiform encephalopathy, and that's basically when the prion proteins in the brain start to break down and fold over very tiny microscopic level. It leads holes in the brain tissue of the sufferer that cannot be repaired and cannot be cured. It is actually the type of disease that we saw hit Northern Europe primarily in the 1990s, 80s, early 90s, with a disease that's Crutchfield, BCJD, which is a variant Crutchfield or Jacob's disease. It is the disease that they refer to as mad cow disease. Okay, and we all know that that was determined that epidemic occurred because of mishandling and an unsafe practice of processing the heads and spines of calves that didn't make it during the birthing season, and the farmers taking them back and then cooking down the head and the spinal cord of the calves for what they believed at the time to be a great nutritional value to the herd, to make them fatten up and with disastrous consequences, because that's where prions exist in the body. And then once an animal or person has died, that prions start to fold over at death, and that becomes the infectious agent in the disease instead of viruses or bacteria, which is also present. And then, it's really bad because the prion itself is a protein of the body that is 1,000 times smaller than the smallest microbe that the smallest virus or bacteria. And here's the thing about prions: they don't contain DNA. I mean, you have them in your body. Everyone's born with them, primarily in the brain, spinal cord fluid, and the fluid of the eyeballs. Okay. And yeah, it's definitely bloodborne. So, well, there's no reason to really freak. I mean, it has to get into you somehow. You have to do something, be exposed to it, but that's what I'm talking about. And so far, this lax uh or even panicked response that we'll just leave the dead there and then we'll come back and figure out what we're going to do later, at the very least, is not it's very, very dangerous. And there have been people I know for a fact that have been going and toying with the human remains, for whatever reason they're doing, and exposing themselves to the dead bodies and mishandling the corpses, the nice way that I'm going to put it. Mishandling, you know, like they're going to keep them like a trophy or a doll or a some sort of commodity that they will do things with body, believing them to be, in the manner of satanic worship and such things. Uh, which we know how irrational that is, but microbes are real. Microbes are real. I can't stress enough that this kind of inappropriate contact with dead human bodies and the body parts of the deceased, that kind of mishandling of it, no matter what you think you're doing with it, indeed the outcome is going to be the transmission of these from the corpse to the living person who is doing 100%. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion. You go around messing with those dead bodies, you're going to get sick from them. What kind of disease you're going to contract? The possibilities are myriad. What happened to you? But the fact is you go around doing that, you're gonna get sick from the dead body or dead. So, I just wanted to come up here and briefly touch base and let people know, I have seen in the news where they've gone over in Portland, they've got the National Guard out now, and they're moving in what they're calling temporary, and they're like great big, but instead of furnished inside like a camp trailer, they're racks of bombs, and they're getting busy and making it a point, they said, to see to the appropriate handling and disposal of the victims' dead bodies now that they have them. So, that state, I'm aware, has confronted the problem and has started to work on it. But everyone needs to. Okay, we're not doing real good today. Not doing really, really well. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Iowa. We're putting up our numbers now with like contraction rates, and this new wave of pandemic is really hitting us really hard in this area. And there is this just making everyone sicker and upping the risk for healing disease that is deadly. And, what they've planned to do is obvious, with those temporary morgues. They're like great big trailers that they bring in, and then a lot of whose remains are going in there and get them all sifted and fill them up. And then they move that away by machines, put it on transports, and they're taking it away to be interred and dealt with in a way that is responsible. If you're not doing that today in your state or region, I can't tell you how important it is that you get started. Because, you know, and you're taking people who have done these things just really, really irresponsibly and stuff, and taking them away and punishing them for what they did is also quite necessary. I mean, they're going to get us all killed in a nutshell. Behavior like that at this time, it's really bad. So we've got to crack down on people who are not, there are even people where that are having such a great time with all of this. They've taken victims, dead bodies, and they're just like so just disappeared, and they're hiding the bodies in residential areas, up in the garage, and just packing stuff around, and really, really causing their property become quite a biohazard kind of situation. And so yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. Yeah, they have to be taken away and interred, or otherwise dealt with in a way that is acceptable. And this could also mean temporary crematoriums being set up that will be used just for COVID victims. it's really important because you see our crematoriums that we've always used when the dead are laid to rest in religious ceremonies, they leave an indelible mark on their final resting place here on earth, which, you know, uh, well, what I mean is that people who were cremated do not have a grave. Their crematorium where they were laid to rest kind of becomes marked spiritually for them, like their grave. Here's the thing though, some of those bodies are so badly infected that these places that we've used in communities for long periods of time, the, um, the buildings that they're in, whether it's usually a funeral home or something like that, um, the the complex itself is used for so many things, including parts of funeral rites, visitations. You know, there are chapels in there and stuff like that. And burning those dead bodies that are that contaminated in the crematoriums there is going to leave a odor there that is quite abnormal for the usual kind of spirit that's left behind by the dead once they're cremated. There's an acrid smell that is distinctive around places like that anyway. And some of these dead bodies are so badly infected that burning them, cremating them for disposal, which is something that we really need to do, but in those places would ruin the regular crematorium. It would make it so that we couldn't light the fires back in anymore. Of course, it would smell so bad. It would smell too bad, and it would ruin the whole property there, and it would make it so that we can't use them in the future. So, my suggestion is immediate building of just some crematoriums, nice and big for that, and we can work on getting them up and running, and then once they're used, they could be dismantled again. And we want to do them in a place that's as far away from cities and from populations of people. Really, if possible, we want to scout locations where you can get them far away into a place that's really not an easily accessible place. You know, you may have a great road going in there or whatever, but at the end, what we're going to want to do is strike the whole place so that, you know, and make it where no one can really go in there any other way except for like on foot. And it would be a walk that you would have to take to make it out there would be would dissuade people from wanting to go out there and look around those grounds after it was all over while it was still going on, and also the the, the chance of contamination as far away from the population as possible because it's really bad, you guys. So anyway, that's all I gotta say. You know, If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the third time we come up here and made a little video on YouTube concerning such things and lectured people that, you really have to do. This is a poem by Elizabeth Cook Lynn. It's called My Grandmother's Burial Ground. Paul Waukesha, July 12th, 1892. Words are coins thrown on a table to settle a debt. A sign that nothing's settled. A quote by James J. McCullough, Irish Bull. I walked beside the stone that bore your name in bleed, and felt the threat of history give rise to sudden chill, like wind from unseen breeze. Ancestral bones lie in enmity in this new world, except that history called you Christian, and your name, kill in war with spear, crouched for you. Brave Paul, your name is pale as northern tamarack in fall, and names of all born men or sense are coins in games of chance. I stand alone and cast a shadow on the sunken mounds. Mute metaphors, I think, for carelessness of memory. Not then or now for sale or trade. Never mind. The coins invaders played, which made you play your hand against your will, won't pay the debt. History, that counterfeit absurdity, is for buffalo bones and dried skins of crows. We're gonna have to do better. So I'm finished now.